Chapter 17. A man called Ove and a cat annoyance in a snowdrift. Is it dead? Pavane asks in terror as she rushes forward as quickly as her pregnant belly will allow and stands there staring down into the hole. I'm not a vet, Ove replies, not in an unfriendly way, just as a point of information. He doesn't understand where this woman keeps appearing from all the time. Can't a man calmly and quietly stand over a cat-shaped hole in a snowdrift in his own garden anymore? You have to get him out, she cries, hitting him on the shoulder with her glove. Ove looks displeased and pushes his hands deeper into his jacket pockets. He's still having a bit of trouble breathing. Don't have to at all, he says. Jesus, what's wrong with you? I don't get along with cats very well. Ove informs her and plants his heels in the snow. But her gaze when she turns round makes him move a little further away. Maybe he's sleeping, he offers, peering into the hole, before adding, otherwise he'll come out when it thaws. When the glove comes flying past him again, he confirms to himself that keeping a safe distance was a very sound idea. But the next thing he knows, Pravane has dived into the snowdrift. She emerges a second later with the little deep-frozen creature in her thin arms. It looks like four ice lollies clumsily wrapped in a charade scarf. Open the door, she yells, really losing her composure now. Ove presses the soles of his shoes into the snow. He has certainly not begun this day with the intention of letting either woman or cats into his house. He'd like to make that very clear to her. But she comes right at him with the animal in her arms and a determination in her steps. It's really only a question of the speed of his reactions, whether she walks through him or past him. Ove has never experienced a worse woman when it comes to listening to what decent people tell her. He feels out of breath again. He fights the impulse to clutch his breast. She keeps going. He gives way. She strides past. The small ice-cold decorated package in her arms obstinately brings up a flow of memories in Ove's head before he can put a stop to them. Memories of Ernest, fat, stupid old Ernest, so beloved of Sonia that you could have bounced 5 crown coins on her heart whenever she saw him. Open the door, then. Pavane rose and looks round at Ove so abruptly that there's a danger of whiplash. Ove hauls out the keys from his pockets, as if someone else has taken control of his arm. He's having a hard time accepting what he's actually doing. One part of him in his head is yelling no, while the rest of his body is busy with some sort of teenage rebellion. Get me some blankets. Pavane orders and runs across the threshold with her shoes still on. Ove stands there for a few moments, catching his breath before he ambles off after her. It's bloody freezing in here. Turn up the radiators. Pavane tosses out the words as if this is something quite obvious, gesturing impatiently at Ove as she puts the cat down on his sofa. There'll be no turning up of radiator here, Ove announces firmly. He parks himself in the living room doorway and wonders whether she might try to swat him again with the glove if he tells her at least to put some newspapers under the cat. When she turns to him again, he decides to give it a miss. Ove doesn't know if he's never seen such an angry woman. I've got a blanket upstairs, he says at long last, avoiding her gaze by suddenly feeling incredibly interested in the whole lamp. Get it then. Ove looks as if he's repeating her words to himself, though silently, in an affected, disdainful voice. But he takes off his shoes and crosses the living room at a cautious distance from her glove striking range. All the way up and down the stairs, he mumbles to himself about why it has to be so damned difficult to get any peace and quiet in this street. Upstairs, he stops and takes a few deep breaths. The pain in his chest has gone. His heart is beating normally again. It happens now and then, and he no longer gets stressed about it. It always passes, and he won't be needing that heart for very much longer, so it doesn't matter either way. He hears voices from the living room. He can hardly believe his ears, considering how they are constantly preventing him from dying. These neighbors of his are certainly not shy when it comes to driving a man to the brink of madness and suicide. That's for sure. When Obed comes back down the stairs with the blanket in his hand, the overweight young man from next door is standing in the middle of his living room, looking with curiosity at the cat and Pavane. Hey man, he says cheerfully and waves at Ove. He's only wearing a t-shirt even though there's snow outside. Okay, says Ove, silently appalled that you can pop upstairs for a moment only to find when you come back down that you've apparently started the bed and breakfast operation. I heard someone shouting. I just wanted to check that everything was cool here, said the young man jovially, shrugging his shoulders so that his back blubber folds the t-shirt into deep wrinkles. Pavane snatches the blanket out of Oba's hand and starts wrapping the cat in it.